actually started selling cars while I was still in high school, Russ. Here's the funny part. I did 2 interviews, crushed the second one, and then they were like, hey, you start at 9 a.m. on Monday. And I was like, well, I got school. He was just stunned. He didn't know I was in high school until after I told him that.
How does a 19-year-old kid sell 30 cars a month when he just started? Meet Cory Hill of Mohr Kia. He just started selling cars, and today we're going to find out how he's been the top salesman at his dealership since the day he started. Thanks so much for being on the show, Cory.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
So for people listening and they're wondering, why do I have this kid who looks like he's 12 years old on my podcast that is supposed to be about car salesmen who are just absolutely killing it, crushing the game? Last week, we just had Frank Craniti on, who's a 25-year car sales veteran that sold 140 cars last month. So what's this kid doing on my podcast right now? Well, I'll tell you exactly why this kid's sitting here. He's not a kid. He's 19 years old. He's a man. On my TikTok, I see this video, and it's a meeting with a bunch of car salesmen, and they're congratulating this kid. And this video is like 4 million views. You got to go check it out. We'll make sure you guys see. We'll make sure we plug Cory's TikTok in here. Gotta go check out this video. And they're congratulating this 19-year-old kid for being car salesman of the month and selling 30 cars. And that's kind of how Cory came on my radar. And I started checking out his TikTok, and he's absolutely crushing it, not on just social media, but in car sales. But at 19 years old, he was able to sell 30 cars. He was the car salesman before the month before that. I think, what was it, 22, Cory?
It was.
And then the last month of May, he was the top car salesman at his dealership again. And how many did you do, Cory?
I did 29 in May, 30 in April, and then 22 in March.
And you've only been with your dealership for 3 months, right?
Just about, yeah.
Just about 3 months. So that is why Cory is on the podcast today. This kid is doing something that no one else in car sales is doing, or I shouldn't say no one, but less than 1% of people that have been in the industry for a long time. 30 is the magic number. There's guys doing a lot more than that, but 30 for the normal car salesman is the magic number. And guys are in this industry for so long and are never able to hit that number. And Cory's doing it at 19 years old. He's crushing it. He is someone we can learn so much from, and that's why he's on today, to kind of share what he's doing. And I think young people are the next generation, so we need to learn from them. And that's exactly why Cory's on. Not only am I going to learn stuff from Cory today, anyone who's listening is going to learn stuff from Cory. So, Cory, tell the people where you work, how long you've been there, and make sure you tell them your TikTok, too, because I want them to go see this video that has 4 million, probably 5 million by the time this gets posted.
Oh, well, first off, I want to start off with saying I appreciate you, Russ, for having me on. This is awesome. Been watching this man for forever, and I've learned a lot from this man, too. I mean, so many different things, so many advice. So he's the real guy. But no, I work over at Mohr Kia in Avon, Indiana. So just not a little town, but not a big one. Right about 30 minutes away from Indianapolis. But we deal with customers from all over the states and everywhere. And what was I gonna say, Russ? Geez, you're messing me up here. But
my brother said you asked people like 4 questions at one time. I go, I can't help myself. That's how I am in real life.
You did. You got to fill me back in.
I asked you, where do you work? How long you been doing it? Yep. And then make sure you just plug your social media.
Awesome. So Mohr Kia
cars for. I know you've been at your dealership. You said a little over 3 months. How long have you been selling cars for total?
How about I just start from the beginning?
Go ahead.
I'll do it. So I actually started selling cars while I was still in high school, Russ. So I was a senior in high school. My second semester of high school. The first semester, like at the very end, I started detailing at a Chevy dealership right down the road from where I work now in Avon. And then right when I turned 18, I was just messing around with the managers. I was like, move me up. Yeah. And they gave me the interview. They moved me up. And I started selling cars. But here's the funny part. I did 2 interviews, crushed the second one. And then they were like, hey, you start at 9 a.m. on Monday. And I was like, well, I got school. And he was just stunned. He didn't know I was in high school until after I told him that. And then he still gave me a shot. Let me come in from noon to 8 every single day. And I worked at Champion Chevrolet in Avon for about 8 months or so. And my second to last month working there, I won the Salesman of the Month title there too as well, at only 18. But then I took a little break from the car business and tried out some other stuff, some business-to-business sales, stuff like that. It wasn't really working out. I mean, I missed it. Just like you always say in your TikToks, man. You freaking – it's addicting. It's awesome. It's so much fun. And I got offered a job interview and stuff from the general manager at Kia because he heard about me from a family friend. And I was like, man, I'll give it another shot. I'll do it. And I went back to Kia around like mid-February of this year. So I've been in the business. I mean, if you total it all up, about roughly a year and a month or two, give or take.
So to any of the skeptics listening that are like, there's no way his dad has to own the dealership or his uncle's the GM or his cousin's spoon feeding him deals. That doesn't seem to be the case. You were actually recruited from this dealership based on your track record being in sales at 18 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So the person who referred me there, I've known him for a very long time, and he actually knew the general manager. So I had no clue who the GM was until I started working. But he was like, "Hey, they needed some salespeople," and he was like, "Hey, I know this kid. He's not doing it right now, but I bet if you asked him to, he would." And he asked me to, and I came down there, and I mean, this guy has no clue who I am. Doesn't believe that I was any good because I had no like history or no like videos to show it, nothing. You know what I mean? And they hired me, and then when I started, I just started doing good. One salesman a month my very first month, and then the rest was history from there.
And you're breaking all the norms too. I mean, I'm assuming most dealerships would say you got to get a clean haircut. We don't want the broccoli look. Get rid of the earrings. And I truly believe in today's day and age, none of that matters. But you're gonna have some old school guys saying that.
No, yeah.
What's it been like at such a young age, being so successful? Just these last 3 months have to have been so crazy for you. I mean, are your coworkers handling your success well? I mean, I'm assuming there has to be a little bit of turmoil behind the scenes.
Honestly, believe it or not, my coworkers, they really do like me. They do a lot. And they do a lot for me too as well. I mean, I have some like I can't be there 24/7, you know what I mean? But I don't I'm the type of guy I don't split deals.
I feel you on that. Yeah, no way.
I buy people lunch instead. So I have coworkers that help me out all the time and do stuff like that. There's maybe one or two, I won't say their names or anything, that aren't the biggest fond of me, but I'm sure you could probably tell by that video. But those are the guys. That's the guy. That's the guys that are that was winning before I came. So it's understandable. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we're not in the business. We don't go to work to make friends. We go to work to do our business and make money.
Yeah, you're what we call a disruptor. Sometimes a dealership needs somebody like you, and you probably don't even realize how much more money you've made the dealership, not only from your car sales, but you are personally motivating other people around you. Those people who don't like you as much are working a little bit harder, staying a little bit later, taking those extra ups because they're like, oh shit, I got to keep up with Cory. And that is what a dealership loves to see. A top guy that comes in and disrupts the normal can change the whole store. So I hope your dealership is giving you credit first, because I saw in the most recent video that you guys are CSI was up, sales were up, everything was up. And I'm not going to say it's just because of you, but I bet a lot of that is because of you.
Oh no, for sure. And they stress it very hard. So my first dealership I was at was more of like a family owned dealership, that you could kind of say. They were more like old school oriented. But Andy Mohr is down to the wire. They got their stuff. Andy has about 14 locations, and everything's down to the wire. CSI has got to be perfect. I mean, I'm sure Lincoln has some sort of app that you have to set up your customers with every time. That has to be perfect.
Yep.
I mean, every little thing down to the wire has to be perfect. And then we were able to manage. We won #1 in like the district, and then got super high up in the nation for CSI scores this month. And I actually broke the record for it too. So the previous record was 11 perfects in a month, and I was able to hit 12. So that was pretty cool too.
Now, are you asking people for good surveys, or are they just doing them?
So this is how you do it. I've gotten so many comments on TikTok as well about like, how do you get the surveys up? How do you do it just from car salesmen themselves? Yeah. And one thing that I do, I print that out. I go and print out the survey, right? Yeah. And I tell the customer, I'm like, hey, you don't want me to be embarrassed up there, because you know what they do if you get one question wrong? Not only does Kia fail you, but they embarrass me in front of the whole entire sales staff. And I know you like me. You don't want that to happen. Yep. And they say, I would never let that happen to you, Cory. And I literally will take that print off, and I'll go over every single question one by one and say, I did this for you, right? Yeah, yep. we walked around service, right? Yeah, you had a clean and problem-free vehicle, right? Oh, you had no pressure in finance, right? Yep. So they're knowing all this in their head. So then when they go to do that survey, they're just retracking what I said to them already, and they remember, oh yeah, Cory said this, Cory did this, Cory did that. Yeah. But the real strategic thing is, people are wondering, how do I get a perfect survey? How do I do all this stuff? Do the things that are on the survey, and there's no way it can't be perfect.
Correct. Absolutely. That is genius. I never even thought of printing out the survey and going over with them. Now that I'm thinking about what you do, mine's like kind of sleazy, but it's true. You know, I tell people, because I don't know my exact numbers, but I've never had a bad survey in my life. I tell people similar to what you do. I just say this survey is directly correlated with my bonus. So if there was anything on that survey that was out of my control, I could understand why you might want to not make it perfect, but I need it to be all perfect, because if it was something out of my control and you ding me, it only affects me and I lose money, and we have a great relationship, and you don't want to see me lose money, do you?
When you tell the customer, hey, I'm gonna lose, like, here, if you leave me a Google review, this makes me money and it's completely free to you. They're all for it. They want to make you money if it doesn't cost them anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're all for it. I tell them that. I say, hey, this will mess up my bonus. I could lose like $500 from this. And they're like, oh my gosh, from my survey? And I'm like, yeah, please make it perfect for me, please. And I stress it, and I'll, like, it says schedule their first service appointment. I'll write it on the survey. All right, or this or that, and what day it is 6 months from now. You know what I mean? And tell them I scheduled it, and they're like, Cory, you're the best. You did all this for me. It has to be perfect. I don't see how it wouldn't, because I did all the steps.
Yeah. Now, in that video you posted, the viral video with the 4 or 5 million views, there's a couple things I noticed. One, I just want to mention because I think it's funny. Some of the people look so miserable in that video, which I can relate to that. And it's not easy being the top guy sometimes, you know. And, you know, when you see when you're with people who've been there for, I'm assuming 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10, 20 years, I don't know what your staff looks like, and they see this young kid with the broccoli haircut come in and say, I'm just kidding. So 30
calls. That broccoli haircut, Russ. No, man, but I've been wanting to clear that up for forever. So literally, it was 8 a.m., Russ, on a Saturday morning. You know how that goes, man. You know how that goes. And, like, I've seen so many comments too of, like, why are they shoved in the back of in a room? I would hate staying in there all day. That's our little bullpen. Like, we don't have my old dealership. I had a desk, but we don't have desks at this place. We have little round tables at the front. I do almost everything from my phone. You know what I mean? And rarely go back to my computer unless I'm, like, sending emails and stuff like that. But no, that's where we do the sales meeting, and everybody was like, dang, everyone in there's just hating, and everyone is happy. But it was 8 a.m. in the morning. There's no windows in the room, so you can't tell. Like, nobody even had their coffee yet. I mean, it was, and then my manager just got a camera out in front of everybody. I thought he was just taking pictures, and then I get a video sent to me after the meeting, and I was like, I'm gonna post this.
No, that's awesome. There's 2 other things I noticed in that video, positives. Not to dwell on that potential negative, which you seem to have cleared the air. No one was jealous or miserable, pending what you said. You said that the processes at your new dealership were smooth. Is that the word you used?
That is the word I used.
Explain that to me. And to the people listening, you were at a dealership, you were doing well. You were still top salesman there, but you come to this new dealership. Sometimes grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes it isn't. Sounds like the grass was much, much greener on the other side for you. What does a smooth process look like for your clients, and how you're able to walk them through it smoothly and deliver a good experience and ultimately sell a car?
So it's step by step. So one thing that Andy Mohr does differently than what my old place champion did was we are able to literally, like, I could sell you a car right now over the phone, man.
Love it.
I could have you sign up. I could have you sign
like, yeah, you got to come in.
I could take you could send me your VIN number and the miles on your vehicle. You don't even got to send me pictures, Russ. And I could put a trade number on your car, and I could work the numbers with you all over the phone, and I could send you the contracts to sign up on the vehicle all over email. And then you come in, you're at the dealership 5 minutes, done. So the online deals, when I get a BDC lead or anything, they're just step by step, easy, and every sale is the exact same. That's a Jordan Belfort line. If you've listened, if you've watched, listen.
Now, what system were you guys using to do those deals? Just out of curiosity for myself.
System. Well, I mean, obviously, you have a BDC department. I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you quote numbers with Roadster or Autofy, or what CRM are you using, and how are you setting them up? You know,
we use vAuto, Provision, and VIN Solutions and everything. Okay. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what it looks like on my manager's computer and everything like that, because I don't know if you. I mean, dude, you might be just doing your deals yourself at your computer, but I go up to my managers, obviously, get the numbers, and then just call them up on the phone, talk to them about everything. And then when it gets time for them to submit a credit application, I just have them do it on my website. My BDC manager prints it off. I put it on paper. We pull credit. We get it to my finance guy. He structures the deal together, and then we sign them up. And it's quick. I did an e-sign deal today. Love it. It was storming outside all day today. I think we sold 2 cars total today, and one of them was an e-sign deal. Yeah, they're coming to pick it up Friday, and they'll be in and out in 10 minutes.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Do you think that's what makes you so successful? Is you're not used to the norms? Because when
Yeah.
I first started out my dealership, it was like get them in, and I don't
Mhm.
want to look at me. This podcast isn't about me, but I quickly broke that chain at my dealership by talking to management and my owner. I go, look, I'm 18, 19. I wouldn't come in and buy a car without knowing what the freaking payment is. How are we going to
Yeah.
expect these people to? Like, we got to be transparent. Like, we got to give these people the payments. Like, tell them what it is. And there's always the, hey, if we're close, bring it in. You want more for your trade, bring it in. I get all those
Yeah.
exceptions, but we can't be afraid to just shotgun out some numbers. And it's up to us as the salesman to build a relationship over the phone. That's just how
Oh, for sure.
talking 2017 when I was doing this. Do you think that you truly understanding that is what helps you?
I think it really is, like, me being in the younger generation, obviously, I just know. So one thing my mom told me a while ago, right? She said so I was trying to sell my aunt a car, when I was still at the other dealership, but, now I sold her the other day, and in the month of April, I sold her 2 vehicles at once, and, but I did that because I used what my mom told me. My aunt's just like a super, like, she's not lazy or anything, but she's super busy, and she likes stuff to be easy and simple for her, right?
Mhm.
So my mom told me, she said, "If you could make buying that car as easy as door dashing some food, they're gonna buy it every time."
Yeah, you're right.
And I took that what she said, and I was like, "Wait a minute.
You're so
Why
right.
shouldn't I use that? If door dashing your food while you're laying in bed and it shows up to your doorstep, why shouldn't your car too?" You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, if you can make it that freaking easy on somebody, you're gonna get the sale every time. Like, I had a lady the other day who has been trying to get out the door numbers and searching for a vehicle and trying to get out the door numbers from a dealership that isn't charging, like, wheel locks and freaking
Yeah.
window tint and all that crap too, and won't take it off and all that good stuff. And she hit me up. I sent it to her right away, and she came in the next day, bought the car out. When she got there, she was like, "Cory, I wanna give you a kiss. I've been doing this for 6 months, and you were the first person to actually just send it to me with no BS."
Did you take the kiss?
I should've. She was, like, right in front of her husband too. I was like, "Wow."
That's right. Now, also in that video, I noticed something. Maybe it's just because I'm perceptive, but you were dressed very nicely and you were dressed differently. Are you allowed to wear what you want as long as it's nicer than the uniform, or was that just that day you wore a nice outfit?
So, Andy's pretty strict on stuff. If you notice the next video that I just posted today, there was a bunch of comments on the girl in front of me wearing, like, a sleeve on her arm, a shooter sleeve, right?
Yeah.
So, Andy doesn't allow any tattoos being shown whatsoever. You have to have it covered up.
Yeah.
And, so that's one thing, but you have to be wearing a tie unless it's a Saturday.
Uh-huh.
So, or the only way you can't do that is by wearing a collared shirt like this one that has the Kia one. I just pointed at the wrong side. It's like flipped over in the camera, but um, I have other collared shirts and stuff, but we're not allowed to wear any collared shirts unless it's Saturday without a tie. Or I could wear a collared shirt like on a Monday with a tie, but that's pretty goofy
Okay.
looking. So I just put on the whole dress uniform, and I like doing it, man. Look good, feel good, play good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Our dealership's trying to move towards like a more like uniform. Like we had them and they got old and raggedy and they were like, all right, just buy some nice clothes. We'll figure out
Yeah.
the uniform. And then that was like pre-COVID. COVID happens. We never got back to it. And they want to get back to it. And I said, look, I'm not downgrading my look. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm this great looking guy, but I look nice to show up to work. So you guys got to buy me a uniform that looks as nice as what I'm wearing now. Well, I'm not trying to be like rude, but I'm not downgrading my look. I look very nice when I show up to work. And I noticed that in your video that, not to talk about anyone else that I see in that video, but it looked like, with the exception of a few people in there, they're just wearing the black Kia Polo when there's an option of looking better.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And there always is. I mean, obviously, sometimes it's super hot out. You're not gonna want to wear all that
Yeah.
jazz. You don't have to, but I mean, when I can, my pink shirt, that's my hat trick shirt. You know what I mean? I got hat trick shirts, Russ.
Yeah.
I throw on a different. I got certain fits that I put on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go hat trick today.
I love that, man. Absolutely love that. Now I want to talk to you about something because you took the exact same route as me. You started selling cars in high school, which is something I
You started
started
in high
doing.
school?
Yeah, I would leave high school early and go sell cars.
I have. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Was college ever in the question for you?
It was until I started selling cars. But
Same.
I had no clue I had no clue what I was gonna do, man. I wanted to do, like, nutrition and wellness, to be like a freaking gym, and I had no clue. Like, I wasn't gonna do
You
that.
gotta go to college for that anymore. You could go on Instagram and pretend.
I know. I was going to party. Like, I wasn't doing nothing, and then I realized I was sitting there at 18 years old, getting ready to graduate high school. I had my freaking graduation party invite card on the back of my desk for all my customers to see too, because they would love it.
Yeah.
And then I would literally, what's it called? I was sitting there and, we take you there?
Yeah, I'm here. My camera turned off for some reason. I don't
Oh,
know.
no, you're good.
Back on.
We take credit apps every day. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So we're asking these people what their income is and everything, and I have, like, people twice my age sitting in front of me working jobs for twice as long as I have, but I'm over here making more money, you know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell them that, and I don't want them to know that or think that 'cause or anything, but I'm making more money, so I sat there to myself and I thought long and hard. I was like, "If I'm making more money already versus these people who went to college and now have been in a job for a very long time, why should I leave to go to college when I could just put all this money in my pocket right now?"
Yeah. No, I thought the exact same
Yeah.
thing. That's exactly what I thought.
Plus, I
So,
love doing it. This is the first job I've ever had that it doesn't feel like I have to go, "Ugh, I gotta go to work."
mhm.
Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm time to settle some cars. Let's go." You know what I mean?
No, I love that, man. And to anyone listening that's at a young age, or maybe you're just got out of college and you're making $20 an hour, or you're making 45 grand, 50 grand. I mean, Corey's just a prime example of somebody who could get into car sales. And a lot of people will tell you it takes some time, which it does. But there's exceptions to the rule. And you're the exception to that rule, that you can come in guns ho and make some real money day one. You're probably the highest paid salesman in the last 3 months, I would imagine.
Yeah. And I saw so many they're like, "Oh, all minis, all minis." I have a question for you, Russ, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with, like, all, like, the people hating on all your stuff, and do you just ignore it, or what do you think of it? Do you read comments?
Yeah, it don't bug me. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. It don't
It
bug me.
doesn't bug me either or anything, but I see all these about, like, mini deals, this and that, but,
I
no,
got
I've
some life advice, and my pastor told me this, and it's changed my life since.
what was
Hurt
it?
people like to hurt people. So anytime
Mhm.
someone's trying to come at you, something has happened to them in their life that they are hurt. And you almost got to. I feel bad for people who do that. So when people go on my Facebook, I'm like, "This kid's a piece of crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a loser." I'm like, "Man, I feel bad for that guy. I
Right?
truly feel bad for that guy." It's like it just doesn't work me up, man. I don't know. I wouldn't think too much into it.
You got 24 hours in your day, and you spend a little bit of time doing that, you know what I mean? That's how I put it too, because I don't let it bother me either. I've never let anything bother me and, like, people saying stuff in my life, because I just worry about myself, and that's
Yeah,
also how I sell a lot of cars, because I have salespeople that come up to me every single day, multiple people. "Hey, how many you at now?
yeah.
How many you at?" And I'll tell them a random number. I don't care, but I don't go up and ask them, because if I'm sitting over here worried about the guy behind me catching up doing this, then he's gonna catch up. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But if I'm sitting over here worried about where's my next deal, I'm gonna go get a next deal.
Yeah. How
So
many
that's
are you at?
this month so far.
Yeah.
I did my 5th today.
Okay. You on pace for a good month then again?
Yeah. So I only hit 29 last month, so I was kinda sad about it,
Yeah.
but because I had one rollover that was already logged, but
Yeah.
since we were doing the deal on the 1st, I,
Yeah.
um, uh, they had to relog it for that day, but that I ended up hat tricking
Yeah.
Saturday, the 1st day of the month. So realistically, and the way my bonus, pay plan is too, I made more money from the hat trick than I would have made going up to the 30 car bonus from the 25. So that's
Oh,
pretty
yeah, because it's
so it worked out.
yeah, I understand. Now, what did your family think when you're like, "Hey, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna sell cars." I know what mine thought. It was not positive. Was it, like, positive at first, or they're like, "No, we don't want our son to be a used car salesman?"
Okay, it was a little bit of mixed emotions, 'cause I have a good family. My parents, they've always been putting money into a college fund. They've never made me pay them rent. They've never made me do all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? They've taken 19. Well, it was 18 before I went to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, they took 18 years out of their life saving up for me to go to college and doing all this stuff, and then I dropped the ball on 'em, like, I don't wanna, you know what I mean? Just all of a sudden. And they respected that, obviously, because they respect anything I do. They're great parents, amazing. I
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at without them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it took a little bit for my dad and everything. He was, like, up until as, like, summer started coming closer and everything, he's like, "So are you going? Are you going? What are we doing, dude? What are we
Yeah.
doing?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to." And I would explain to him, like, "I'm making great money right now, and I love doing this. I don't wanna go if I go to college, I'm gonna get stuck in the party craze and
Mhm.
get stuck with people that aren't doing anything besides a little bit of schoolwork and then drinking booze all night. I wanna progress in life and be something and be somebody," you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think they're, like, now in age, fast forward a year later, they're more than ecstatic I took this route They love it to death. All their friends, that's all they talk about to them. Hey, I'm gonna come see Cory soon for a car. You know what I mean? And they absolutely love it, and they're so proud of me. They think it's awesome.
No, and that's so great. Sometimes you got to go against the grain, man. I mean, just hearing what you said is exactly what I thought. And it was very wise of you to have that exact thought process on that, because now you are surrounded with high level people. Yeah, there's some low level people, I'm sure, at your dealership, but your GM, the owner, who I'm sure you're on the owner's radar. If you haven't met him yet, I would hope he has introduced himself to you. If not, he
I've
probably
met him. I've met him once, but he's a guy that doesn't do a lot of talking. He just comes in every once in a while. He has 14 dealerships, right?
he
I
knows who
mean,
you are. I promise you.
hey, in the system, whenever I go to check my the amount of gross I've done,
Yeah.
and by the way, I mean since I started late in February, or I think it was like early February, late in February, till now, I'm leading in everything: units, gross, back end, whole nine.
Love it.
But my name in like that system that probably he goes to look at to see the leaderboards and stuff is my employee number 710. I don't even have a name yet. Everybody else has a
It's
name. I don't even have
710.
a
This
name.
kid's good.
Yeah, I think to myself sometimes, I wonder if he's sitting there like, who the heck is 710? You know what I mean?
But I found, which helped me mature to the next level when I started making real money, was being around people who are going to say, "Hey, Russ, how you going to invest that money? When are you going to buy a house, Russ? When are you going to put this money here? Come to the golf course. Come to the country club." Not people who are like in college, and this is no disrespect, but 4 years of, if you go look at what most people are doing, it's where are we drinking tonight? How much are we drinking? We're going to skip class tomorrow. What kind of pizza we ordering tonight? And when you look at 4 years of compounding interest over not just the money, but the knowledge that you're
Yeah.
going to gain while somebody's in school, they're learning book smarts. That's great. That's cool. Whatever. You're learning, I don't want to say street smarts, but you're learning real world smarts, how to
Yeah.
invest, how to be smart with your money. And you're surrounded with top level people who are doing it. I'm sure your GM, your managers all have good money, nice houses, and they're going to show you how they did it. And you're going to figure out better ways to do it too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I have people all the time asking me how to even buy a car and how to do all this stuff. But I've been dealing with credit and all that good stuff for so long. I've learned how to leverage my credit. I've learned how to actually put my money in the places it needs to be in. You know what I mean? I actually, believe it or not, put an offer on a house yesterday. So waiting to see what happens tomorrow. So that's pretty exciting. And
Life's moving fast for you.
what'd you say?
Life's moving fast, huh?
It's moving a little too fast, man. I feel like I'm 25 and I'm only 19.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
but no, doing all this at a young age really like the car dealership teaches you taught me like in the first 3 months of working there taught me more about life than any school whatsoever in high school. More about money, more about anything I ever learned in high school.
And you're going to meet so many people. And if you don't already, you're going to have a guy for everything. I have a painter, a plumber, a mechanic, but something that my dealership can't do or doesn't want to do. I got something for everything: bricklayer, lawyer, carpenter, chiropractor, doctor. I have a guy for everything.
That's awesome to say that because I tell everybody that too. I'm like, you need some. Hey, you want starlights in your ceiling in your car? Oh yeah, I got a guy. Don't worry. You know what I mean? It's like I got a guy for that. I love having a guy for everything. It's awesome.
Now, who's your mentor at the dealership right now? Would you say your main go-to guy?
That's a hard one. So at my old dealership, I had a sales manager, and I still love every person at that dealership so much. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
didn't leave because they were bad or anything like that. I didn't leave because they were mean to me. They were awesome. They treated me like a son. I had an old sales manager over there. His name was Shay, and he was literally like a second dad to me, man. He was super cool, helped me close a lot of deals, everything. But over here, I've kind of I've taken kind of like the Lone Ranger route a little bit.
Okay.
But I'd say my go-to guy is probably the guy who was taking the video. Actually, his name's Andre.
That's your
And,
biggest fan?
probably, yeah.
He's video in it. Yeah, he got
I'm
love
pretty
it.
sure he did like 40 deals or so himself in the month of April, and like 26 of them were mine.
Okay.
So he's just my guy. You know what I mean? Because like the second when I first started in sales was when he first moved into management from finance.
Yeah.
So he kind of and he didn't have a guy yet, and every manager has a guy. You know what I mean? And he was like, Cory, I need a guy. I need you to be my guy. You got to be my guy, man. And ever since he like picked me out the group to be his guy, I'm like, man, I got to be his guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
But
managers love young guys.
yeah.
aside from top guys, but they love young green peas that have energy because you're coming to the desk and you're listening and I mean this respectfully, you haven't seen enough deals to know what someone may or may not do. So you probably have some 30-year vet coming, they're never going to do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to put that much down. They're not
Yeah.
going to go for that payment where you're just like, all right, here's the numbers. Cool. Here's what my manager said. This is a great deal. Let's go ahead. And some people get just so stuck in their ways, they start deciding what the customer will or won't do instead of just presenting the customer their options. And we're not here to trick people or make them do something bad. We're just here to present options with a good attitude. And
Exactly.
bad salesmen just don't do that.
Exactly. But one thing that I would say, and this kind of goes back to one of your first questions about the smooth process.
Yeah.
There's one thing that we do differently that I never have seen any dealership do. You might do it something similar, but we have something called a guest sheet. Are you familiar with that at all?
Mm.
So the second the customer gets there, I go and grab a paper that's at the sales desk. So I sit him down. I say, hey, you can grab a seat at one of these round tables. I'll be right back. I go and grab a paper from the sales desk and I bring it over to him, and it's a guest sheet. It's got name, address, cell phone, email, and then the second section that says, like, did you see this online? Yes or no? What website? Cars.com, our website, yada, yada, right? It'll say like year, make, model, trim. And then it'll say options. And I start going into, like, if they were a BDC, they coming on a certain car, I'll be like, oh, that's the 2024. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, what did you like about that? And I dive straight into why they want that car, everything, price, features, whole 9 yards, right? And then there's a little section right below that says, okay, so after I talk about the options, I'm like, okay, so how did you plan to buy the car if things go that way? Or if everything goes good, how do you plan on taking this thing home? Do you plan on financing it, or do you kind of plan on just stroking a check?
Yeah.
And then they'll tell me, hey, I plan on financing. Cool, that's awesome. We work with over 45 different lenders, so we'll definitely be able to get you the best rate. How much money do you think you're going to put down? And let me tell you, this is within the first 5 minutes I met these people.
Yeah.
And they tell me I'm putting $5,000 down. Awesome. So with that $5,000 down, and we're hoping we get the best interest rate possible, right? Right. What was your goal monthly? And then they tell me. And then I go into saying, okay, there's another section below. Okay, do you have a trade-in? Maybe they do, maybe they don't, whatever. But just that little section right there tells me everything I need to know for when I go to get my numbers. So in my head, as long as it's reasonable, you know what I mean, right then and there, I already know how this deal's going to go. All I have to do is go on a test drive, and now I'm going to go close them because I know where I need to be, and I know what I need to do, and I don't have to be around the bush. I'm already there.
You're basically asking them to buy the car before you even show it to them, which is awesome.
Yeah. And it's just like that with that little sheet. It's every time, every sale, same steps, same things, same close. The only thing you got to do is be a chameleon and adapt to your customer.
Yeah, and that's easy for you, man. I can just tell talking to you, that should be no problem for you.
Appreciate it, man.
Now, what advantages do you think you have being young?
Oh, a lot. A lot of customers don't think I know as much. You know what I mean? They think they know more than me sometimes, or they think I'm just like helping them out, like I'm like a server at a restaurant sometimes or something like that. Yeah. Maybe, you know what I mean? But they love me usually too, but they don't think I'm smart enough to actually be able to make some money on the deal.
Yeah.
They don't think I know too much. You know what I mean? Even though I can get into this or that, but they could think I do. They could think I don't, but I think that's something that helps me a little bit too, is that they don't believe that I'm doing this much cars until I tell them. You know what I mean? They don't know all this stuff. They don't know.
Cat who just started yesterday that doesn't.
They just think I'm a little kid who just started. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't lose that. Don't lose that energy. Some guys. This isn't me. I don't do this. Some guys will say they're new and they'll be like doing it for 15 years. Oh man, I'm new. I just started. I've been doing it for 15 years.
I hate that because they can tell, and then now they think you're lying to them. You know what I mean? Because once I've heard that too before, but no, I'm completely honest. I'll be like, hey, I used to work at a Chevy dealer. I couldn't believe it coming from Chevy to a Kia dealer. I mean, I got one of these Kias and I thought it was a freaking Mercedes, and then they laugh and chuckle. You know what I mean? But I have little things that I literally like. I have little phrases that I literally say to every single customer I work with throughout the process.
Awesome. That's how it should be, and you gotta say it the first time you said it.
Exactly. Like, and no, it's like it's so funny, Russ. It's literally the exact same thing every single time. Every phrase, every little phrase I have, every little things I do. You know what I mean? Huh?
Let me hear
one. Give me an example. Where are we at in the process?
You're showing me the car.
I'm showing you the car?
You're showing me a Kia.
Oh, okay. I got a good one. So there's on the screen of the Kia, there's a button called the valet mode.
Yeah.
And I'll say, "Hey," I'll be going over the buttons. I'll be like, "Hey, this is your valet mode. So, Mr. Customer, whenever you take Mrs. Customer out to Fogo de Chao and have a wonderful night on the town, you're going to be using this mode all the time. And you're going to put it in there, and the valet guy isn't going to be able to take your car over 20 miles per hour or access your screen. Isn't that awesome? Oh, that's sick, Corey." I say that every time. I say the restaurant. I say the valet guy, like just little things like that.
Yeah.
Or one thing I do that I really enjoy doing on the credit applications, I'll say like, "All right, what's your birthday, ma'am?" It's only on women. And they'll be like 1972, and I'll be like 82, and then they'll be like, no, 72, and then I'll say 82. Ah, I'm just messing. And they're like, you're so sweet.
I
But
love it.
no, like little tiny things like that, and it's just
See,
every
it's why I love this podcast, man. Those are two things that I don't do that I can easily do that are just things you can learn from other people. I'll give you one in return. This is my favorite
yeah,
thing to do.
you have to.
I get in a new car, and maybe on the test drive, awkward silence, I'll go, I just love new car smell.
That's awesome.
And then everyone goes, yeah, me too. It smells
Yeah,
nice.
me too. That's great.
And it's not even sell it because I do love new car smell. So it's not like I'm lying, you know. I just go, a new car smell never gets old.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. That's really great. And it's just little things like that all the time. One little thing that I do every single time too is when we get back from the test drive, the keys might be in the cup holder, right? The customer will literally take it and be like, "Here," then hand it to me, right? Try to. And I'll say, "Man, I got too much stuff in my pockets. You hold on to that. I'm walk away." So now they're taking ownership of that key, and they have that key stuck to them that whole time they're sitting at the table. They're maybe sitting there fiddling with it.
Mhm.
That's your car now.
They're taking
Before
ownership.
you
Yep.
even looked at the numbers, that's their car now. They
Yeah.
have the key already. I take that key back after they sign the paper.
Oh, I love it.
So that's
Absolutely.
another little thing.
That's awesome.
It's
What are
the
your
little things that
what are
matter.
your, what are your plans with all these people you're selling to make sure that you sell them another car? What is your follow up going to look like to make sure? Because in car sales, it's just I don't want to give you bad juju. You might have a down month. So how do we minimize those down months with
Knock
profit?
on wood, Russ. You gotta knock on wood, man.
Yeah.
But, um that's something I think you could maybe help me out with, Russ. I don't like, I'm always focused on the next deal and the next deal and the next deal, and I'm always trying to be, like, ready for somebody to come into the dealership, and I'm not doing anything, you know what I mean? I'm decent at follow-up. I'll make my texts, I'll make my calls and stuff
Uh-huh.
sometimes, but I think I could be 20 times better at it.
Yeah. So I'll give you a couple things, and I'm not the best to follow up. Most salesmen suck
Yeah.
at follow up because we're always thinking about the next thing.
But at
Couple
the
things.
same time, the customers don't wanna hear me, like, they don't like, once I follow up a couple times, they're cool. They don't wanna hear me every single week, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
So,
can't.
yeah.
It's how do you do it effectively? And
Mhm.
I have found recently, this last 12 months, my referrals and repeats have gone through the roof from social media. I'm not calling people, but if I'm posting on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Snapchat every single day, I'm not following up my customers, but they're seeing me. So
Yeah.
think of it like this for a second, Corey. I get phone calls like this. Hey, Russ, I was at Easter dinner and I was showing my cousin your videos and he's going to come up and see you. Well, I didn't call that guy on Easter, but he was
That's
thinking of
awesome.
me on Easter. And that is a way to get in front of people without even like bugging them because
Yeah.
follow up can be perceived as bugging if not done
Yeah.
properly.
No, for sure.
Like my first manager, like call them every 45 days, ask for referrals.
No, for sure, and they don't wanna that's another thing too, even with customers who come into the dealership and then leave, you know what I mean? Because you know the old saying, if they come in and then if they leave, they're not gonna buy, they're not gonna do this. I don't blow up their phone either. If they wanna go shop around, okay, so be it. I made them a great deal when they were there. You know what I mean? If they want that car and they like that deal, they're gonna call me.
Yeah.
They're not gonna wait for me to call them to come back. If they want it, they're gonna call me. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's something I do with those customers. But the customers that I've already sold to, I guess that's awesome because that's something that I've already been doing too. Like every single customer I get a picture with them.
Yeah.
I get a picture. I have someone take
Facebook
it.
page.
Yeah, yeah, I post every time.
Perfect.
You
Yeah.
gotta follow me, Russ. You gotta follow me on Facebook, man.
I'll follow you on Facebook. No problem. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's just like the starting. And then for actual follow-up,
I could get better at Instagram. I like to post my own little things on TikTok without the customers, kind of, but every customer gets posted on Facebook for
but they
sure.
don't even need to be in your TikToks to be watching your TikToks. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
With social media, I find that you want to give more than you ask. So if you
Mhm.
notice my TikTok, I don't ask people to buy cars very often. I do, but I give more value through entertainment, education, insights, and then I'll ask. So it'll be like give. Then I'll ask. Funny video, interesting video, entertaining video, educational video. And I was like, hey, we got a big sale. If you guys are interested, don't even care.
Right.
We got a big sale. But if every video was big sale, one, the big sale is not a big sale. You had a big sale yesterday. Yeah. You had a big sale 3 days ago, Rob. So we don't even know what a big sale is anymore. So I try not to water that down. So I just try to give more than I ask. And I think that's huge for the social media aspect. But actually following these people, I think you can do 2 things that are huge. One, you probably are already doing this, but if you're not, make sure everyone has your cell phone number.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like at 19, it's just like a given, but some guys are like, I don't want being bugged. Okay, well, have fun making 50 grand every year, bro.
Yeah, I text customers at midnight.
Yeah, love it.
I don't care. I text them 24/7, my day off. It doesn't matter.
And it's so easy. It's really not that hard.
Because I text people no matter what anyways, you know what I mean? I'm already on my phone. I'm already chilling there, you know? But I've gotten probably the last 3 months, I've probably gotten 5 or 6 deals just from family, friends, people I know.
Yeah.
That just people knowing who I sell cars now. Because okay, so one thing in the town I live in next to the town I sell in, I live 15 minutes away from the dealership.
Yeah.
So, and I went to 3 different elementary schools in the same town. I went to 2 different high schools and towns like right next to each other. So I know and I played all the sports too. Mm-hmm. So I know a good group of people. I know just about everybody. And the good thing about that is that I can post stuff on Facebook all the time, and they see all this stuff. Like people tell me all the time they're seeing all this stuff, and then they just call me. They want to come buy a car from me because they think it's so cool. You know what I mean? And then it just when they get there, those are the easiest sales too, because they already know you. The report is already there, and they already trust you. You know what I mean? Or they wouldn't have came and seen you if they didn't trust you.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Follow-up is so huge, and it's something I did not take seriously until these last 2 years. And if I had taken it seriously since 19 years old, I'd be selling more cars than I would even know what to do. I'd probably have an assistant. So please take my focus more on the follow-up. I understand next sale. You got to sell 30 cars. That's your number. Keep trying to sell 30 cars. Find time for the follow-up. Figure out a way to make it easy. What else could you do? I like this line a lot, especially when you have like really good customers you can have fun with. Call them, not annoyingly, but like, hey, Cory, it's Russ. I thought we were friends, man. And they're going to go, what are you talking about? Dude, it's been like a month. You haven't sent me a referral. What the heck? You said you had all these people you're going to send me. You have fun with it. That's a fun one that I've been doing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's perfect. I like that.
Cool. And then something I'm planning on doing, which we're already starting to with just like golf outings and stuff. I haven't found the perfect fit, but you got to find something in your community where you can give back and authentically be a part of something. Without even the intentions of selling cars from it, whether that's, soup kitchen or donating your time or donating your money or going to events. You're making a lot of money right now. You definitely got to make sure you're giving back.
No, I like that for sure.
Yeah, that would be huge for you because all these people from sports, which is awesome. You're 19. A lot of those people still live in the area. I'm assuming Indiana's you're in a smaller town, so a lot of people stay. But how do you grow your network? How do you sell almost every person in every household? That should be the thought.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
And it starts with this, and this is a line I picked up just like 2 months ago from the Frank Criniti guy. In the last podcast, he taught me this one, and it's so fire, and you wouldn't believe how many people will call you. And you have to say it to them just like this. Hey, Cory, you say it's a delivery, you say it's when you see them, whatever it is. Even if you don't sell them, of course, say this to them. Hey, Cory, I know you probably think of me as the Lincoln guy, but I know everybody in any industry, whether it's Mercedes, Toyota, Honda, Lexus, you want a minivan, you want a helicopter, you need a wheelbarrow, you need a horse and buggy. You think transportation, you call Russ, because if I don't have the car, I know a guy who will sell you the car and take care of you. When you think car, you think me, and I'll take care of you. Always call me first when you think of any automotive. And you wouldn't believe the phone calls I get. And I actually help these people. You got to follow through on that commitment. So when, hey, Russ, my buddy's looking for a Mercedes, first thing out of my mouth, would he consider a Lincoln? Sometimes, right. Sometimes yes, of course. So I tell them, come see me. But if they don't, okay, hey, call this guy at the local Mercedes dealer. Tell him Russ sent you. He's the guy. You don't just want to walk in there going and ask for this guy. And I truly help these people. And that's where I'm giving back without expecting anything in return. And that has been like my biggest line I've picked up is just, you think automotive, you think transportation, you think Russ.
That's some of the best advice you could have ever given me, because the cool part about Andy Mohr, I keep doing that. It's on the wrong side, but whatever.
You're good.
And the cool thing about Andy Mohr, he has 14 different lots. I'm actually allowed to, so we're on a strip. So right next to us, we have a Volkswagen dealership, a Nissan dealership, and a Toyota dealership. They're all Andy Mohr. They're right next to us, right? All in one. All the same parking lots and everything. But he has a bunch of other locations throughout Indiana, you know what I mean, of all different brands and everything. Cool part about that is I can go on his website, find that, and grab a car from another dealership, bring it to mine, and sell it there.
Love it. Yeah.
So with what you just said, if you think automobile, I can sell any kind of car anywhere. I can go grab it from anywhere for any type of customer.
Yeah.
So literally, if they want this car, I can go and get it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then it makes it so much easier.
And you're already doing it. You just gotta make sure you're always on people's mind, and you're already doing the social media, which is like the hardest part to get people to do. So, and you're young, so you understand how it works, and you're getting a lot of views, and you're getting followers. We have 10,000 followers.
I'm getting there. I'm at I think I'm about to hit 8,500 any minute right now. So,
love it, man. So if you're listening to this, go follow him. Let's get him to 10,000. Now, we kind of talked about this for the 2 minutes before we actually started recording. What's next for you? I mean, life's moving fast for you, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you want to go into management at this point in your career, or do you think you want to just be the ultimate car salesman? Because you have the potential to be one of the greats. If you're doing 30 now, you do the right follow-up, you can be like the Frank Crenetti doing 140, doing 120, the Ollie Rita setting the world record. It is possible. Or do you see yourself more of a manager, mentor role down the road?
See, I've always looked up to my managers. I've always wanted to be a manager. I've always wanted to be the guy who goes and closes all the deals and runs around the floor, puts all that stuff together, goes above and beyond for my salespeople. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, they have a lot of stuff on their plate, but I've always thought about finance being my next step. I really wanted to get into that and learn the end of the deal and all that stuff.
Good to know it.
And having a little bit of piece of that back end pie, you know what I mean? Because that back end pie can get kind of juicy sometimes, and they have good pay structures and stuff like that. But I mean, I love selling right now too. The floor's awesome, but I feel like being either in finance or management, knowing that I'm always going to have a deal coming to me, would be a little bit better in an aspect instead of having to always run around for it and worrying if I don't get one or not. You know what I mean? Even though I love that aspect too. Yeah. I mean, I still would say the goal next would be to get into finance or into management. But I mean, I love selling cars right now too. But I don't know. Who knows if I'll be selling cars 5-10 years from now? You know what I mean? Who knows where the world will take me? But one thing I do really like doing is just getting out on my phone, getting on social media, getting on YouTube, making YouTube videos, making TikTok videos, all that fun stuff. And I love helping people put smiles on their faces. So I mean, whatever job has me doing that's what I want to do. You know what I mean?
I love that, man. And I think and I'm not trying to plant seed in your head. I think you could be a great car salesman. I think the benefit to being a car salesman is if you can do it right, you can sell 30, 40 cars and work 15 days a month. I know guys that do it,
They're going to make me be there, Russ. What do you mean? They're going to hold me hostage in that place.
Not if you put up the numbers, man. A good salesman can negotiate what he wants. And that's kind of in my Facebook group with the Pinnacle. They kind of talk about how to make that a reality. And how to negotiate that with your dealership, and you got to be able to prove it. You can't say, hey, I'm going to work my own schedule and then sell 5 cars,
Yeah, no, for sure.
But there's guys out there selling 50 cars, working 3 days a week. So it's definitely possible. It just takes the proper processes. And these guys didn't do this overnight. It takes time. Yeah. But the proper follow-up and processes and procedures, it's definitely a reality.
How do I negotiate anything with that stuff? Like you're telling me I could negotiate my pay plan, I could negotiate this, you know what I mean? And I know I probably could, but how do you leverage that? Because there's been some things here and there that I don't necessarily agree with. Think I should be getting more for what I do and this and that. But how would you go about negotiating something? Whether it's getting paid more, whether it's doing this or that.
So you have to bring the value to it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Actually, what somebody in my Facebook group told me to actually ask to my dealership, because I just went through this recently. I was able to. We're still ironing out the details, but renegotiate a pay plan for me. And I'm going to read off what this guy said to ask. He goes, so when it comes to negotiating your pay plan, it's not uncommon. We call it the Pinnacle level, being top dog at the Pinnacle level, but it does always come down to leverage. Whoever has the most leverage wins. So in your situation, it's tough. You're killing it, but you work for a franchise of 14 dealers. So it's a little bit tough. I'm Russ at a standalone Lincoln dealer. And this is no disrespect to my dealership, but we mutually benefit each other. But I have a little bit more leverage being the top car salesman at a standalone one-on-one store. But know your numbers based on based on 90 days. What percent of total sales volume compared to the total store volume? Your percent of self-generated monthly sales, percent of close ratio compared to the store average, dealership average marketing cost per sale, your CSI ranking in the store, your seniority and your tenure compared to the team. The more of these things you know, the more leverage you can discover. These should be all available data points to you. And then the biggest part is the willingness to walk away and the pain of starting over if you don't get what you want or can't come to a mutual understanding. Once you've got some of these data points in your current, okay, now he was just telling me to send them stuff, but that was that's huge. Just understanding the leverage, because you can essentially build a business within the business that benefits everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, reference to the podcast I did last week with Frank Creditti. He sells 140 cars a month. I didn't ask him specifically. I'm sure that dude's paid differently than everybody else, as he should be.
Yeah.
But he puts up big numbers every month and does over half of the store's volume every month. So it's not, and you can't, and you got to watch podcasts, man. I mean, the way he articulates, because I think it's funny. I think you're in a similar position, other than you're doing way better than I was at 19, but you're thinking just like I was. I'm where I'm at. And this Frank guy, talking to him was like talking to me in 30 years, or where I'd like to be. And I think he's very compatible with our personalities and how we think and how we want to help people. And, and he's not arrogant. He said at one point he was arrogant and cocky and, look at me, I'm the top guy. Like, it's my way or the highway. And he was like, that's not how you conduct business. And he does it extremely well. He articulates extremely well how you can go about your business while not pissing people off.
No, for sure. Yeah. I believe it.
Now, a couple questions here, then we'll kind of wrap this up here. I try to keep these under an hour. I'm kind of long-winded, so I talk a lot.
No, dude, I probably talk more than you, dude. I could talk all day. Don't you worry.
What would you say to someone who's your age that's watching this, that wants to get into car sales and is scared or nervous? Especially, there are some dealerships that I don't really have to get into how your pay plan is, but they're like all commission or very little guarantee, and they're like, I'm scared to make that jump. What if I don't make any money? Can I even do this? What would you say to encourage somebody who wants to get into it but is maybe nervous if they can actually perform?
I mean, all I would really say is everywhere's always hiring. If it doesn't work out, you can go do whatever. You know what I mean? You can go get the job you just had before. I'd say jump right in and don't look back, because the more you look back, the less you're going to do. You know what I mean? Like, when I first started, I knew I got at my old place, I had like a good chunk of training pay, but just that training pay alone was more than I've ever made before in my life. And I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And then I started doing it, and I was like, this is more than I've ever made, ever. And that's just it just consistently grows and grows and grows. And the more you grow, that'll grow too. But like, I work on strictly commission. If I don't sell the car, I don't get paid. So every day when I show up, it's my duty to sell a car that day. You know what I mean? Every day, if I'm there, if I'm working and spending my time, I don't work for free. I don't. So if I'm there and my time is being dedicated to that place, I'm going to sell something. You know what I mean? And if you have that mindset every single day, walking in there knowing you're going to sell something, not like, oh, I don't have any appointments, I don't have people, I don't know people, I don't do this. You go find it, man. They're out there. I could go walk around the lot and find somebody any second. You know what I mean? Or I could call somebody, do this or that. Like, it's there. And you just gotta do it. You just gotta dive in and not look back, because the more you look back, you're gonna stay back. You know what I mean? And I've told so many people since I've started. I have told all of my friends. I have told so many freaking people, Russ, you have no clue, to get into the business if they want to, because they're like, Cory, I want to make a bunch of money. I want to do this and that. You're doing this. You got a cool car. You're getting a house now. You're doing this. I want to make a bunch of money too, man. How do I jump in the car business? Like, I've told so many people, but nobody like actually believes me or listens to that.
And like, flip patties, bro. But thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me so mad too, because I got friends too that are like, man, I want to sell cars soon. I'm going to try to soon. And I'm like, man, then go ask. Like, they're working at the dealership still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a couple people that I'm friends with right now, that when I started detailing, they were detailing with me there, and they're still detailing there too. And they've told me repeatedly, hey, I want to be a salesman soon. And I'm like, dude, closed mouths don't get fed. If you want to do something, you go freaking tell them you want to do that, and you'll get it. But if you don't tell them you're going to do that, they're not going to think you're capable of doing it, because you don't even think you are.
You love it. Such wise words, man. So simple. It's so hard to execute. You know, my manager just said to me the other day, he goes, car sales can be the hardest $30,000 a year job or the easiest $300,000 a year job.
I heard that the other day too. Yeah, like literally like last week.
Must be a similar car lingo going around.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think car lingo is just car lingo, man. That's everywhere, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Now, I wanna leave the viewers to anyone listening to just to know what's possible. What was the most you made 1 month selling cars?
Dude, I don't talk a lot about how much I've made. I really don't. I've had so many comments, "What's 30 cars pay? Oh, what's this pay? What's this pay?" But, I mean, I'm not making anything insanely amounts, you know what I mean? But I do in terms of gross. So I think the most I probably made in 1 month is probably, like, a little over 15, I'd say, give or take.
It's a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money.
It definitely is for my age and stuff. I think I could have probably made more on, like, my gross and my deals and stuff like that, a little less minis, you know what I mean? But sometimes you can't control that aspect, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta move metal. It is what it
Yeah,
is. Still,
yeah.
that's a lot of money. I'm like super bad at math, but that should I don't know what's 15 times 12. I'm so bad at math. That's like 160 grand or something. If you made that all year, I'd be cool with that at 19. I can tell you I wasn't making that at
Exactly.
19.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I think I made 70 grand at 19. So you're on pace to double what I was making.
And there's probably more places that have better pay plans and stuff like that, you know? But when you're making over 10 grand a month in general at my age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more than most adults.
Yeah.
That's more than, like, 95% of the adults I know.
And until you buy this house, you really don't have many bills, I bet either.
No, except for a car payment, that's it. That's really it, but I've already bought the car of my dreams, you know, I bought it when I was 18.
Yeah. I love it.
And then I had a car payment, but I knew how to buy a car, so I got my good deal. I got the payment I wanted to, I put a lot of money down,
Mhm.
I got a good rate, I got my mom, she helped me out, not with money, but with a signature, you know what I mean?
Well,
And
coast.
then just a little one to make that rate go down a little lower, and then it's put me in a good spot. Now I'm building credit, now I've got money saved up, I can actually handle that bill while gaining another bill here shortly. But I'm gonna have roommates too, Russ. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be paying crazy amounts on my mortgage or anything. I'm the guy with the down payment.
Ah, smart man. I rented out a room in my first house for 3 years to some random person. We actually ended up becoming best friends, but I
No
lived
way.
years and I wouldn't rent to a friend because I said to all my friends, I said, if I want to kick you out, I'm going to kick you out. And I don't want to ruin a friendship. So I rented to somebody random. He ended up being my best friend.
Hey, I'm gonna rent with some of my friends, but I'm gonna lay down the laws. You know what I mean? And I don't care. Like what my word goes. You know what I mean? If I bought the house, my name's on the title. My word goes. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. They know that.
No, no. And I love it, man. And maybe a little bit of wisdom from someone just slightly older than you. Just always remember you are who you surround yourself with. I don't know your friends. I don't know what they're about. Doesn't really matter. Just keep that in mind as you consider letting people move into your house with you.
No,
Um,
for sure.
if they're not on your level, you're either going to bring them up or they're going to bring you down. And it's more likely for people to bring, it's harder to pull people up and it's very easy to be drugged down. Just think of a slide. It's kind of hard to go up a slide, very easy to go down a slide. And that's just how it works. And I've been through that. So I know how that goes.
Totally. Totally. Totally.
But hey, thanks so much for hopping on. Thanks. Make sure you stay up. We're going to stay on a little bit and talk in private. But
No,
thanks
you're
so much
good.
for hopping on, Corey. What was your TikTok? I don't think we ever plugged it.
What is it? Is it Corey Hill 04? Let me double check before you hop off of there. Hold on.
And
Corey
while
Hill 04.
Corey Hill,
That's it right
Corey
there.
Hill 04. Make sure you guys go check him out. I got to watch the video. And anyone listening to this and you're like, hey, I'm an awesome car salesman and I want to be on this show with you, Russ. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure all the links to my link tree are on there. Fill out the form. I actually got so many submissions. I got my wife going through them now. Fill out the form. And then I'll get back to you as long as you're interesting. You gotta be an interesting car salesman. So if you're gonna send me a video, make sure you just got a little bit of personality. But if you want to be on my podcast, just go ahead and hit the link in my bio. Make sure you guys share, like, and comment for more content like this. Make sure you follow Russ Flips Whips.